There's a silent villain that steals people's independence after 60. And most of the time, it's not just knee pain. It's the moment you start thinking twice before getting up from a chair. You avoid stairs. You shift your weight carefully because you're not fully sure your knee will hold. And little by little, you lose trust in your own leg. Because when your knee starts bossing you around, your world gets smaller, and that threatens your independence. And here's what most people never hear. What you're feeling has a name. Physical therapists call it quadriceps inhibition, the single most overlooked cause of knee pain in adults over 60. The muscle that holds your knee together is still there, but the signal telling it to fire has gone quiet. And every time that signal drops, your knee absorbs the load the muscle was supposed to carry. That's where the pain comes from. That's why standing up starts to feel hard. That's why stairs start to feel scary. A study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine followed 1,294 adults over 60 with knee pain for 2 years. Those who relied only on rest, braces, and painkillers lost 38% of their knee function. Those who did targeted thigh and hip strengthening, short, slow, no impact, improved knee function by 47%. Same age, same starting pain, opposite outcomes. That's the difference between climbing stairs at 75 and being afraid of them at 65. I've spent over a decade as a physical therapist, and here's what I see every single week. People focus on the knee, they ice the knee, they wrap the knee, they brace the knee. And it gets worse, because the real problem is sitting 6 inches behind it, in a hip muscle that quietly stopped firing years ago. The glutes are the knee's bodyguards. When the bodyguards walk off the job, the knee gets jumped every single step. Today, I'll show you one main exercise we use in physical therapy that rebuilds this entire system. The exact movement your knee depends on dozens of times a day. But first, 4 short prep movements to wake up the thigh, hips, and glutes, so the main one becomes safe and dramatically more effective. No gym, no jumping, just controlled movement with a chair or wall for support. And let's agree on one thing. Mild muscle effort is okay. Sharp knee pain is not. We're going for safety, control, and consistency. So let's start with the first prep movement, the thigh wake up. This is the muscle your knee depends on most, and the one that goes quiet first after 60. When the quad stops firing, the knee loses its support for sitting, standing, and walking. So before anything else, we wake it up. Sit on a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor and your torso upright. Pick one leg to start. Slowly straighten the knee, lifting the foot as far as comfortable without forcing it. Hold for a moment at the top. Then lower it even slower than you lifted it, like you're putting the brakes on the movement. The secret here is the speed. This isn't a kick. The slow lowering is where the muscle actually builds strength and where the knee learns to move with control. After your reps, add one isometric hold at the end. 10 to 15 seconds if you're new, 20 if you're comfortable, up to 30 as you progress. This is what physical therapists prescribe before patients are even allowed to walk after knee surgery. That's how foundational it is. No impact, no joint loading. The knee barely moves, but the muscle works hard. A quick note on form before you start. 2 things tend to go wrong here. The first is moving too fast, almost like a kick, and the second is leaning your torso back to help the leg up. If either happens, reduce how high you lift and keep your body still. The leg should be doing all the work. If it feels hard, straighten the knee less and shorten the hold. If it feels easy, pause 1 second at the top of every rep before lowering. Start with 8 to 10 reps on one side, then switch. 1 to 2 sets total, and remember our deal. Mild muscle effort is okay, sharp knee pain is not, but waking up the thigh isn't enough on its own. There's another muscle that controls whether your knee stays aligned every time you take a step, and most people have no idea it even exists. I call it the knee shield, and it's one of the most important movements in the entire video. It strengthens the side of the hip, the muscle that prevents your knee from collapsing inward when you walk, climb stairs, or stand up. When this hip muscle is weak, the leg drifts inward with every step, and the knee absorbs a kind of load it was never built to handle. Multiply that by 4,000 steps a day. Every step becomes a small injury to a joint that was perfectly fine 10 years ago. Stand behind a sturdy chair, holding it with one hand for support. Support isn't weakness, it's smart. Keep your torso upright, eyes forward, feet aligned. Now, without leaning to the side, slowly lift one leg out away from your body. You don't need to lift high. The whole goal is to feel the side of your hip working. The key technical point is this: don't let your torso sway. A lot of people lean their body to help the leg lift, and when that happens, the hip stops working and the exercise loses its effect. Your body stays steady, only the leg moves. Keep your toes pointing forward, not turned outward, so the right muscles stay engaged. If it feels hard, use both hands on the chair and lift the leg less. If it feels easy, add a mini resistance band around your ankles, but only if you can still keep the movement clean and pain-free. 8 to 12 reps per side. One set to start, building up to 2 or 3 over time. Now, your hip is awake on the side, but there's still one direction we haven't trained: the back of the hip. And that's where your glutes live. I'm calling this next one the glute anchor because that's exactly what your glutes do for your knee. They anchor your hips and stop the leg from collapsing under your body weight. When glutes are weak, here's what happens in real life. You feel less steady when you walk. Your posture starts leaning forward. You hesitate on uneven ground. And without realizing it, the knee picks up the work the glutes stopped doing. Every single step, every single day. This is one of the most overlooked muscles in knee pain after 60. People focus on the knee, ice the knee, brace the knee, and the actual problem is sitting 6 inches behind them, in a muscle that quietly stopped firing years ago. Stand with both hands on a sturdy chair, torso upright, shoulders relaxed, feet aligned. Slowly take one leg back, as if you're pushing your heel backward into a wall behind you. The movement is small. You don't need to swing the leg. The goal is to feel the glute squeeze on that side. Here's the most important technical detail. Don't arch your lower back. That's the #1 mistake people make on this exercise. When the leg goes back, most people push their belly forward and let the lower back do the work. Then, the glute never fires at all. The fix is simple. Keep your core gently engaged, your torso stable, and make the movement small and controlled. Another common mistake is bending the knee like you're kicking backward. Don't kick. Think about lengthening the leg behind you, slow and deliberate. If it feels hard, use both hands on the chair and shorten the range. If it feels easy, add a mini band around your ankles. 8 to 12 reps per side. 1 to 2 sets at your own pace. And remember, mild muscle effort is okay. Sharp knee pain is not. Your thigh is now active. The side of your hip is awake. Your glutes are firing. And now we're going to combine all 3 into one movement that bridges into the main exercise, without your knee paying the price. This one's the wall brace squat. Until now, every exercise has trained one muscle. This one teaches them to talk to each other. Stand facing a wall about 1 step away. Place both hands on the wall at chest height, arms slightly bent. Feet hip width apart. Now perform a mini squat. Bend your knees slightly and send your hips back, like you're sitting into an imaginary chair, but only a little. Slowly return and repeat. The technical secret is to think about 2 things at once. Hips back, knees aligned. You don't need to go low. A small squat with control beats a deep one with bad form every time. 2 common mistakes: letting your whole body fall forward into the wall like the wall is holding you up, and letting your knees cave inward. If your body shifts forward, think more about pushing your hips back. If your knees cave in, think about tracking them in line with your feet. If it feels hard, make the range tiny. Even a small bend counts and still trains the right muscles. If it feels comfortable, add a 10-second hold at the bottom, always without sharp pain. 3 to 5 reps to start. Build up over time to longer holds, up to 30 seconds in your safe range. Your body is now fully prepared. And what's coming next is the most important exercise of the entire video, because it trains a movement you do dozens of times a day. And when this one movement starts to feel hard, your independence is what suffers. I call it the chair key, because it unlocks the single most important physical skill for staying independent after 60. Standing up and sitting down with control. Think about it. You do this movement getting off the couch, the kitchen chair, the bed, the toilet, dozens of times a day. And the moment it starts to feel hard, your world gets smaller. You sit less. You avoid certain chairs, you hesitate before getting up, and the knee starts running the show. The day you can't stand up from a chair without using your hands is the day everything else starts to change. We don't wait for that day. We train this movement now, so it stays easy for years. Use a sturdy chair. If possible, place it against a wall so it can't slide. Sit toward the front of the seat with your feet flat on the floor, hip-width apart. Before you stand, lean your torso slightly forward, like your nose is moving toward your knees. This shifts your weight and gets you out of that stuck feeling so many people have. Now push the floor away with your feet and stand up slowly, all the way to fully upright. No rush. Reset your posture at the top. Then sit back down even slower than you stood up, controlling every inch of the descent. If you can, touch the chair without crashing into it. That slow descent is the most important part of this entire video. The slow lowering is what builds real strength and what protects the knee at the same time. Here's the technical secret of the whole video. Slow descent, knees aligned, hips helping. Don't let your knee do all the work alone. Send your hips back as you lower, just like you practiced in the wall squat. Keep your knees tracking in line with your feet. 2 common mistakes: launching yourself up with momentum on the way up and dropping into the chair on the way down. Stand at a comfortable but controlled pace. On the way down, think. Sit like you're putting the brakes on. If it feels hard, push down on your thighs with your hands for support or use the chair arms. Shorten the range if needed. If it feels easy, do it without using your hands, or add a 1 to 2 second pause right before you touch the seat, like you're floating just above the chair. 5 to 8 reps for 1 to 2 sets. Build up to 8 to 10 over time. Always prioritize control over speed. And remember our deal. Mild muscle effort is okay. Sharp knee pain is not. If you feel sharp pain, reduce the range, use more support, and step back 1 level. So here's how to put it all together. In your first week, do this full sequence 3 times a week on alternating days. Focus on learning the movement. No rushing, no pushing through pain. In the second week, keep the same frequency, but try 1 small progression. Less hand support, slower descent, or a resistance band on the hip exercises if they feel easy. How will you know it's working? You'll feel small changes in daily life. You stand up with less effort. You feel less stiffness after sitting. Your knee starts feeling more reliable underneath you. No miracle, just real progress. You won't notice it on day 1, but by week 3, you start trusting your leg again. By week 6, you stop thinking about the chair before you stand up. That's the win. One bonus tip that helps almost everyone: don't stay in the same position too long. Every 45 to 60 minutes, stand up and walk for 1 to 2 minutes, even just around your house. That alone improves circulation, unsticks the joint, and makes a real difference combined with these exercises. The 5 movements I showed you today can already change how your knee feels, if you stay consistent and respect your limits. But I also know real life is harder than it sounds. People start strong, then aren't sure if they're doing the movements correctly, don't know how to progress safely, and lose momentum after a few weeks. So keep this simple. Focus on consistency, not perfection. Start with the version that feels safe for your body right now, and build slowly over time. Small improvements repeated consistently are what rebuild strength, balance, and confidence. And remember, your goal isn't just stronger muscles, it's protecting your independence. It's being able to get out of a chair comfortably, walk with more confidence, climb stairs with less hesitation, and trust your legs again in everyday life. If this video helped you, tell me in the comments which exercise you're starting with today. I really do read them, and it helps me create more videos that are actually useful for you. And before you go, don't skip the next video on your screen. If your legs feel weaker than they used to, or if walking has been getting harder lately, it reveals 4 simple exercises an orthopedic surgeon recommends to improve leg strength, balance, and walking confidence after 60. It pairs perfectly with everything you learned today. Thanks for watching.